Have you ever pondered what it means to have a heart like Jesus? This is not simply a question of faith, but a matter of character, of inner strength, and of the desire to love and be loved. Jesus, a figure who transcends time and space, is known to many as the embodiment of love, compassion, and understanding. His heart, a beacon of light in a world often shrouded in darkness, serves as a model for how we should interact with the world around us. But what does it mean truly to have a heart like Jesus? In this journey, we're not seeking to convert or proselytize, but to explore a heart that is generous and kind, a heart that forgives, a heart that shows compassion even in the face of adversity, and ultimately, a heart that loves unconditionally. We're not just talking about actions here, but the motivations and emotions that fuel these actions. This exploration is not just for the religious or the spiritual, but for anyone who has ever asked themselves, how can I be a better person? It's for anyone who has ever felt the need for more love, more understanding, and more compassion in their life. This journey is about you. It's about examining your own heart, your own actions, and your own life in relation to the heart of Jesus. It's about finding the strength to love when it's hard, to forgive when it hurts, and to show compassion when it's easier to turn a blind eye. This exploration is a journey of self-discovery and self-improvement. It's about understanding that having a heart like Jesus's doesn't mean being perfect, but striving to be better, to be more loving, more forgiving, more compassionate, and more understanding. So as we embark on this journey together, I invite you to open your heart and your mind, to reflect, to question, and to challenge yourself. Now let us delve into the stories that illustrate Jesus's heart. The parable of the Good Samaritan is a vivid demonstration of Jesus's compassion. Imagine a man, beaten and left for dead by the roadside. Now picture two figures, a priest and a Levite, both respected members of society, passing by without offering help. It's a bleak scene, isn't it? Yet it's within this context of indifference and neglect that we discover a beacon of compassion, the Good Samaritan. The Samaritan, despite being an outsider and despised by many, stops to help the man. He doesn't just offer a quick fix, but goes above and beyond. He dresses the man's wounds, transports him to an inn, and promises to cover any additional costs. It is here we see the heart of Jesus mirrored in the Samaritan's actions. Jesus's heart was not swayed by status, background, or societal expectations. His compassion was for all, especially those downtrodden and forgotten by society. The Good Samaritan, in his act of kindness, embodies this compassion. He didn't just see a man in need, he saw a fellow human, a neighbor, deserving of love and care. This is the kind of heart that Jesus demonstrated throughout his life. A heart that loved unconditionally, that reached out to the rejected, that saw beyond societal norms and expectations. A heart that was willing to cross boundaries, to get its hands dirty in the service of others. Jesus's compassion, as seen in the Good Samaritan, invites us to reassess our own hearts. Are we willing to stop for the beaten man on the road? Are we ready to show love to those society has cast aside? Are we prepared to mirror the compassion of Jesus in our own lives? The story of the Good Samaritan is more than just a tale of kindness. It's a reflection of Jesus's heart, a heart that was, and always will be, full of compassion for all. In this story, we see a reflection of Jesus's heart, one full of compassion for the downtrodden. Another story that reveals Jesus's heart is the parable of the prodigal son. This tale unravels the narrative of a young man who, driven by a thirst for independence, demands his share of his father's wealth. Eager to explore life beyond the boundaries of his father's estate, he sets off on a journey, leaving behind the comforts and familiarity of home. His pockets filled with newfound wealth, the son squanders his fortune on fleeting pleasures, living a life of reckless abandon. Soon the inevitable happens. His wealth depleted, the son finds himself in the throes of adversity. Stripped of his riches and dignity, he's left with no choice but to work as a swineherd, yearning for the scraps that even the pigs won't consume. It's in this moment of profound despair that he realizes the magnitude of his folly. With a heavy heart, he decides to return to his father, prepared to beg for forgiveness and to be accepted back as a servant. But the story takes an unexpected turn. As he approaches home, his father, who had been waiting for his return, rushes out to meet him. There's no reprimand, no lecture on irresponsibility. Instead, the father embraces his wayward son, showering him with love and forgiveness. He orders his servants to bring the best robe, a ring, and sandals for his son. A feast is prepared, a celebration of his son's return. This story is a powerful manifestation of Jesus' heart of forgiveness. It echoes the boundless mercy and love that Jesus embodied. Like the Father in the story, Jesus welcomes back those who have strayed, offering them forgiveness, regardless of their past actions. He doesn't just wait for us to return to Him, but actively seeks us out, ready to celebrate our return. Through this parable, we see Jesus' heart of forgiveness and unconditional love. Humility is another characteristic of Jesus' heart, best illustrated when He washed the feet of His disciples. In an age and culture where the washing of feet was a task relegated to the lowest of servants, Jesus, the one they called Teacher and Lord, stooped to wash the dusty feet of His disciples. Can you imagine the surprise, the shock, the confusion that must have filled the room? The silence broken only by the splash of water and the soft rustle of a towel. This was no ordinary act, but a powerful message wrapped in a simple gesture of service. Jesus, the Master, lowering Himself to the role of a servant, was a vivid demonstration of humility in its purest form. It was a silent sermon on the essence of leadership and the heart of service. It was a lesson that true greatness comes not from lording over others, but from serving them. This scene is not just about the physical act of washing feet, but a tangible demonstration of Jesus' heart of humility. It was a simple act, yet it turned the world's understanding of power and authority upside down. It was a moment that showed that true leadership is about putting others before oneself, about serving rather than being served. In this act, Jesus was showing His disciples, and indeed all of us, that humility is not a sign of weakness, but a mark of strength. It is not about being lowly, but about lifting others up. It is not about self-degradation, but about selfless love. Humility, as shown by Jesus, is about recognizing our shared humanity, about understanding that we are all equal in the eyes of God. It is about putting aside our pride, our status, our self-importance, and serving others with love and compassion. The scene of Jesus washing His disciples' feet is a timeless lesson in humility. It is a reminder that to follow Jesus means to serve, to love, to put others before oneself. It is a call to embrace humility, to walk in the footsteps of Jesus, to mirror His servant-like nature. In this act, we witness the humility and service that resided in Jesus' heart. These stories offer us glimpses into the heart of Jesus, compassionate, forgiving, and humble. In our journey through the narratives of the Good Samaritan, the Prodigal Son, and Jesus washing the disciples' feet, we've been given a window into the divine qualities that Jesus embodied. His heart, overflowing with compassion, forgiveness, and humility, served as a beacon of light in a world often shrouded in darkness. Compassion, the first trait we explored, is a powerful force that drives us to act out of love for our fellow human beings. It is the ability to feel another's pain and to be moved to alleviate it, just as the Good Samaritan did. It is the ability to see beyond our differences and recognize the shared humanity that binds us all together. Next, we delved into forgiveness, a trait aptly demonstrated in the story of the prodigal son. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting wrongs done, it's about releasing the burden of resentment and opening our hearts to reconciliation. It's about embracing the imperfect and acknowledging that everyone, including ourselves, is capable of change and redemption. And finally, we explored humility, as depicted in the story of Jesus washing the disciples' feet. Humility isn't about belittling ourselves. It's about recognizing that we are no greater than anyone else. It's about serving others without expecting anything in return, and about putting others' needs before our own. These traits, compassion, forgiveness, and humility, are not just virtues to admire from afar. They are qualities to cultivate within our own hearts. They are seeds that, when planted and nurtured, can grow into a forest of kindness, empathy, and love. In a world that often seems divided and tumultuous, choosing to cultivate a heart like Jesus's isn't just a personal decision. It's a revolutionary act. It's a commitment to living a life of love, of understanding, and of service to others. As we journey through life, may we strive to cultivate a heart like Jesus, a heart of compassion, forgiveness, and humility.